Hello, everybody. This is Steve Peterson.
And I'm Jack Hinkle.
Welcome back to Chops Podcast, where we talk about best teaching practices, know your content, and know your students. Welcome back, Jack. It is a beautiful, sunny day here in Elkhart.
And it's finally above freezing.
And it's above freezing, and we can stop walking like a penguin.
No more. Well, actually, it did kind of freeze again, like the ice on the roads did, like the water turned back to ice. So I did do a little penguin walking again, just to make sure I'm not falling over.
Okay.
Have you face planted yet this year?
No, not yet.
I've come close.
Have you?
I've come very close.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a turn on like my run that I take that's been frozen for a while, and I'm like doing like a sideways thing just so I don't fall over, and I'm like halfway walking. Yeah, I look like I'm in like a Tom and Jerry cartoon. It's not good, but haven't shattered a hip yet, so knock on wood for that one.
I've had adult friends, and I've seen students wipe it big. You know?
Yes.
You just got to be careful.
Yep, that's what they say. Just got to be careful. Just got to reload it.
Yeah. And if you're a dog owner, it's a better time to take your dog for a walk.
Because their legs are actually higher than the snow now?
Yes. Oliver, though, I swear, I took him out yesterday, and like he wanted to walk around the front yard with 18 inches of snow, you know? And,
Malibu looks at the backyard. We have our sidewalk paved in the backyard, and she just looks at the snow, and she's like, I'm good. Just turns back around. Because it's like at her nose. Like it's her nose level. Because she's so small.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and she'll come back in like face just she's a black dog, face just covered in snow. Just like
cute photo ops.
Cute photo ops. Yep, that's true. But man, I'll tell you, it drips all over the tile. All over the tile. A lot of cleaning going on. So, hey, we're here on a half day again. 17-minute classes where every second counts.
Why do we do half days?
Why do we do them? Because teaching a full day is just too much. So many days in a row. I think we do half days for professional development, right? That's why we do them?
Yeah. I was really asking. I was wanting you to do an infomercial, but you just kind of took it seriously and were like, no, we do.
I took it sarcastically first, but
you did.
I did find out in our PD.
You took it 212 and then you took it sarcastically. So now we do the PDs in the afternoon. Classes for the high school, 17 minutes. We have already been that. And then at the Aspire Academy, we do morning classes, but no afternoon classes.
And then Steve and Jack do chops after school on half days.
Right. That means an earlier recording session.
See, we say that, but it's still like 4:30 right now when we press go. Oops.
We've been out of school.
Well, Steve and I have to talk and catch up and like.
That's about it.
Say all the stuff that has stuff that we need to not say on the podcast.
Hey, maybe someday we should do a VIP pass, and we invite some people into the studio.
There's 2 seats that normally are empty for this, but Steve's in one of them.
We would have to not bring your phone in, and we would probably do
7 NDAs.
Yes, we would probably do a little metal detector work on you, or the wand.
Yep.
Make sure you don't have a recording device, because the pre and post, is more unfiltered, and to
be clear, it's not like inappropriate. Like we're just taking that part out of it. We're just talking about stuff that like we share kids' names. And we talk about like more concepts that we're just not.
Yeah, it's more detailed, more personal. Okay,
Yeah.
We're not like talking about like lighting raccoons on fire. Shout out to Scott Spradley. But it's not that. It's nothing bad. But it's fun.
It's more meaningful in some ways. But again, stuff we're not comfortable sharing with on the public airways. Yep. So half day, and then supposedly one more full day tomorrow. Steve is telling me it's just last week. For those of you on TikTok, you saw my concert week video that I made going into the Purdue Jazz Festival, and that one got canceled. We had a concert last week that was at a local high school, Penn High School. They have an evening of jazz, and that was our only Jazz One that attends that trip. And it's pretty easy day, pretty easy night. You just get on a bus. We stop at the local mall, eat at their food court, go to the venue, warm up, perform, leave. Like, it's pretty chill. And apparently I said on the episode last week, yep, going into our concert tomorrow. We got a full week of school here. It's going to be great.
A few moments later. We didn't have school last Friday, and it was like this really quick snowstorm from the lake effect.
Oh my gosh!
And it just showed up like
Yep.
from 6 or like 5 to 8.
My fiance is a elementary music teacher at the elementary school in the district, and I got home. She's like, Jack, I don't think we're going to school tomorrow. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, it's fine. Like, there was nothing on the radar. She's like, oh, we're at least having a delay. I'm like, no way.
Yep.
And then I woke up that morning, 5:30, 6 parent squares. I was like, no. And then
there was a 2-hour delay.
And there was a 2-hour delay then. And then we get to it was almost like 7 a.m. on the dot, I think. Yeah. Concord School's closed due to inclement weather. No! I'm like Michael Scott when Toby shows back up. No! Yeah, let me get out the old text chain, start texting the jazz kids. They're like, is the concert still on? Is the concert still on? It's like, I don't know. I don't know yet.
The concert that you had 3 weeks ago got canceled because of brutal cold and bad snow. And then this one, still on, but the day of, no rehearsal.
No rehearsal, which, by the way, February 6th was the concert day this year. February 6th last year, the same dang thing happened. We had a concert that night at our local record store, and school got canceled that morning, and we had to make it up on the fly with the guest artist. The concert went great. That was a fun time. Both concerts were fine, but that was just so classic. Both days, February 6th.
Okay,
both concerts.
Looking ahead, Jack.
Yeah, what day of the year?
Next year, February 6th is on a Saturday. So I don't know if you would have anything. It might be a good day just to kind of
We're on vacation that day.
Okay.
Jazz. It is an anti-jazz day.
It's probably sold on Ensemble.
Oh, good God. Oh, if that
probably
one.
be canceled.
No, they don't cancel that one. They reschedule it.
That's what okay.
That is worse.
That is worse. That's awful.
That is terrifying. That's it.
Okay, so you got the performance in. All the kids showed up, came in for a little rehearsal whip-to-do, got them going. Everything went well.
Yeah, it was all fine. It was all fine. The bus driver did tell me, though, that the mall that we went to, it was really
shady.
Shady in terms of road conditions. It was not well paved. And she said as soon as she dropped us all off at the food court, she went to park and it was getting a little stuck. She's like, uh-oh. But we got it figured out. She's a great driver, and she was totally with it. So that all was great. Yep. So no concert this week. So I don't care if we have school tomorrow. I mean, we should have school because we don't have school Friday because long weekend.
And Monday.
Yeah. So I don't think I'm going to have a 4-day week until March. 5-day week until March, excuse me. So
that's a lot of days.
That's a lot of days.
Okay, so Jack, today we're talking about co-teaching.
Yes, there was a TikToker that commented on one of our reels that said, could you guys do an episode on co-teaching?
This is for you.
This is for you. Steve and I, most of our careers have co-taught. Not necessarily with each other, but at some point in your day or multiple points, you're probably teaching with somebody else.
And Jack's first job was at Concord, so when he started teaching, at least one of his classes was in.
All the time. Yeah, you didn't co-teach at the school that apparently I shouldn't name out loud on this podcast, even though you have 6,000 times. But at that school, you taught by yourself because you were the only musician in the 30-mile radius.
I have nothing to say. So then when he came to Concord, the concert bands
and the beginning orchestra,
the concert bands, the concert choirs, the orchestras, the junior high bands, the junior high orchestras, all have team teaching, and of course the marching band. So you're in all Concord directors are in a class at least once through the day with another director.
Very true. Yep, the only classes that are flying on their own are the jazz bands, the piano class, and a theory class.
Music theory, right.
So, yeah, so Nicole Naus and Eric Chris, they almost team teach their entire day together, except when they switch the teams. But they don't teach classes without a team teacher.
Right. So the junior high combo, junior high school staff starts at the junior high, teaches 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, but there is a woodwind teacher, a brass teacher, and a percussion teacher. So they teach in 3 different classes, and then they come together as concerts and performance gets near. Same thing with concert band here at the high school. Each of the 3 concert band has 2 wind directors and a percussion director in it. So same setup. Mm-hmm. And then you divide and conquer as needed, maybe 80% of the time in sectionals.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe like right now, this time of year.
Yeah, very sectional heavy.
Okay.
And I know that's true at the junior high band level, and that's true here at the high school band level as well. I don't know if that's specific to Concord, but I want to say it is, that even though we team teach, we often are much more split than we are full.
I agree.
I think other schools don't do that as
agree.
much. But that's what we've done for a while, and it seems to work well. And usually the smallest student to teacher ratio is the best. That's kind of your theory, right?
I always think that's the best, and that's the best use of time as a teacher.
Yeah.
You have more to say and more to share when you're not in a big room with 70 kids and there's 2 directors in there.
Yep. So that's the lifestyle right now. And then over at the Move Up Academy with Aspire, you've got 2 other adults that are with you all the time, and you really are together all the time,
All
right?
together. And our desks are in the classroom along with the 25 students each session. And so 2 certified teachers and a para, which we're all teachers, and we're all in there doing teacher things. And so it's a constant with that gig, it's a constant dance and just communicating about where different students are, where different paperwork is, or where the different programs are, and maybe sharing information during lunch and before school about maybe insider information about a student, successes and failures, or updates, and maybe class success or failures, and what do we want to do? How do we want to look at the seating charts different? How do we want to look at the rewards program different? How do we want to look at, teaching math or teaching social studies?
You guys have to do it all.
So, yeah, we're kind of like the one-room schoolhouse. So for that, even though we're not teaching 30 kids at one time, all English 9A, we're basically seeing where we're needed, and we go there. And there's plenty to do. So if there's not students that are on fire with content, there's things to do with administrative tasks, with keeping the class running and communicating with the high school and the student services. But then there's also things keeping track of kids' progress, but then also maybe learning some content on your own to be ready to work with a student that with content you don't know. Right? Or inviting a student into your space or going out there. So, but it's, you look out in the room, there's always 3 of us. And then there's administrative assistant who also is part of the team, who sees people as they come in, checks them in, gets them set up for lunch, usually listens to a good amount of stories,
Yeah, I bet.
welcomes the kids into the space. So that's how that looks.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a different experience, but it definitely still is a team teach, because I really need to think with my eyes wide open about how it packs everybody in the floor. Teaching at the high school or the junior high at Concord in the music program is, the way it was set up is a great model. I think it's a wonderful model. And if your school district can do a woodwind, brass, and percussion for each of the grades, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then each for one of your high school concert bands, that is an amazing gift you can give your students. And I think there's a lot to unpack there, because I think there's so much good about team teaching, but also some things that are maybe we think of team teaching and maybe they're not. Maybe our definition of team teaching could be contrary to maybe what some of you think.
I was thinking you and I should play Myth or Fact with co-teaching. But before we do that, do want to speak to the, fortunate we are to have the woodwind brass percussion thing.
Yes.
There are trade-offs. So here's how it looks. The 3 junior high teachers, which is a brass person, a woodwind person, and a percussionist, they are at the junior high for half the day. And then they come teach at the high school concert bands for the second half of the day. In the morning at the high school are the jazz bands and the theory classes and the piano classes. So the trade-off of having basically 5 certified band directors in the afternoon at the high school is that the junior high teachers are, one, they're also teaching the high school band, so it's a big load on their plate, and their class sizes are large at the junior high. I think a lot of junior highs do like
pullouts.
They do. Well, they have like 6 or 7, unironically, class periods that they do teach during the day, and it might be like 8th grade blue band, 8th grade white band. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, or it's separated by your instruments. So you're seeing half the kids, but twice the amount.
Mm-hmm.
Where here the class sizes are much larger, but then they're able to come to the high school at the end of the day. So our class loads are pretty big. Like some teachers talk about having 2 or 3 preps. All of us have 5 or 6.
Yes.
And that's the trade-off, but do totally think it's worth it. Speaking as a co-teacher, as a brass guy, I get to hang out with pretty much only the brass kids, unless we're full band. Then we with everybody. And Mrs. Nouse, the woodwind person, is hanging out with just the woodwind kids. Mr. Allman, the percussion guy, hanging out with just the percussionists. And it's like we're able to teach the technical aspects of the instrument, and then come together for full band and do the full band musical, putting the pieces together aspect of band. So that works really well for us. Okay, myth or fact? It's easier if you're the person like riding shotgun co-teaching, like you're not leading it.
Myth.
Why is that, Steve?
Stinks.
It's hard.
Being an assistant director can be more challenging than being the head director.
Preach, bro.
If you're into teaching integrity, is it easier in the way that you could actually check out of a rehearsal if Jack is working on Stars and Stripes Forever and I could be in the back and not engaged in rehearsal? That's easier? Sure. But as a teacher wanting to be involved, it feels a lot of times more tense because you're trying to calculate when you can say something,
Yes.
who you can say it to, what timing, are you talking too long, where are you standing in the room, and helping your co-teacher out without stealing their thunder. So if you're strictly the sidecar, it's tougher. It's a lot tougher because you are not driving the ship, but you have to be ready to jump at any point when there's a break in the action. And you have to be aware of your brother that's teaching and saying, okay, this is not going well. Maybe right?
Yeah, you're like,
right?
give me Jesus, take the wheel.
Let me take it. And you got to know when to pull back. But
Yes.
I think just watching and waiting for it to develop, if you're not in communication with each other and there's good communication going on, I think it's much tougher.
This episode of Chops is sponsored by Sight Reading Factory. Sight Reading Factory is a digital tool that generates virtually infinite music on the spot for any ensemble. Every exercise is customizable, making it great to focus on specific rhythms or intervals. And now you can even align the exercises to match your state and organizational standards. Sight Reading Factory is built for the classroom with 2 great features: auto assessment and live practice. Auto assessments grade student recordings automatically so you don't have to, and they sync directly to your gradebook. By selecting one of 3 levels of leniency for your group, you can be sure SRF will grade recordings appropriately. Live practice allows you to generate music for your ensemble on the spot. Correctly transposed parts will be sent to students' devices while you read the score. No more wasting time distributing, collecting, and hunting down original parts from your library on Sight Reading Day. Visit sightreadingfactory.com today to begin your subscription for as low as $3 per student. Brother Steve was so patient with young Jack as a first and second year teacher.
I had no choice. He was given to me. It was like Moses. He just showed up in the weeds, and there he was.
Yeah, except I probably drained the Red Sea. Like there was no water left. No, I remember like you let me teach a lot. And it would have been like really easy for Steve to just be like, I got it.
Well, I needed more breaks. So I was like, you take it, Jack. You sure? We got contests in 3 weeks.
You're just good at that, Jack. You're just better at making copies.
What are you going to do, Steve? Don't worry about it, Jack.
Why does your breath smell like coffee? No, I can remember rehearsals where I was like grinding to a halt, and the whole band is like, "What are you doing?" And I remember you come, like, I'm trying to teach something on the whiteboard, and you're like, "Hey, tag," and you like high five me, and you like took over. I can remember that, and that was like a moment that
Did
you were
that sadden you?
No, I think I was really relieved. So I was like, "Oh, thank God! Oh, he's got me. He knows where I'm trying to go," and he just picked up the wheel, and you just kept going. So I remember moments like that I'm sure you had to be very intentional about your involvement or lack of, and I think both sides of that were equally as intentional. And that's a hard thing to do well. And I think I'm really lucky that my co-teaching, like my first co-teaching job was with somebody who was clearly more experienced and like literally my mentor, like in terms of Concord High School, you're my mentor teacher, that I was able to work with. I think it would be harder if you were like came into something when you're like equal. I think that could be a little more difficult, or you'd have to be very clear about who's doing what. And as my first job, I was really lucky that like that's where I landed with, because it was kind of like a safe exposure to teaching.
Yes. And in addition to that, I had taught that class with Scott Spradling for many years. So I had been in that class and kind of knew the ABCs of what was going on and the trajectory of that class. And so then, Scott went on to a different band, and then you came on. And so I was able to take what Scott and I did, and then we kind of made it work for Jack and Steve. Yeah. I think that's a really good point to make. It is almost easier when you're in the senior teacher, junior teacher role, because
if you do it right, that's like the asterisk there.
If you do it right, it's almost easier, because to start off with, some of those roles are defined.
Yes.
Right? And so if I came into a new job and went to the high school down the street, and they also had a new director at the same time, and we both came in and were new directors with 20-some years of experience, it would take a while to figure out the talent gap or the pros and the cons of what we were doing.
Right. Or possibly more awkward or harder to figure out. You take over at a new school with a band director that's been there for 4 or 5 years, but they only have 4 or 5 years of teaching experience. So they're like air quote more senior, but you've got more experience. And then like that, how do you divide it up that time?
And those are things that people listening to the podcast, obviously everybody has a different experience with.
Yeah. And
right?
Anything can work as long as you're intentional about it, and both parties are getting out of it what they want and are able to put into it what they want.
Okay, intentional, both parties putting in, getting back.
Because some people might have like a co-teaching thing for multiple classes, and they'll just go, "I'm the lead for this class. You're the lead for this class. Tell me what you need." And it's more like, I've got my class here, you've got your class here, and we just assist where we can.
Yes.
And people do that and are very successful with it. And
absolutely,
that's fine. But Steve's and my job have evolved, especially in the last like 2 or 3 years here at the high school, where I started working more with the wind ensemble, the top group, and well, you did too. You started doing. We both started getting involved with that group more. You were already kind of the assistant for that band for a couple years, and then you took it over as the head director, and then I kind of became the assistant for that band.
Yep.
And so we both had 2 bands that we were co-teaching for, and on paper, like I was probably the head director for the younger band and you were the head director for the older band, but we were still pretty intentional about sharing podium time, sharing whose voice is being heard and who's teaching what tune.
And so that intentionality, what that looked like was daily after class in our office or in the band room, just doing a little wrap up.
Yeah. Chop's podcast is basically the evidence of our co-teaching.
Yes.
I mean, that's what it is, because we were very intentional about spending time together and planning and reflecting. And this is like the byproduct of it. The physical, like tangible things that we did to like divvy it up is that typically we would be like full band twice a week. We'd be split band 3 times a week. Obviously split, we're each doing our own thing. but those 2 days a week.
And pause for that. So some of you may have a problem with that because space is a concern.
Right?
And space wasn't always super awesome, right?
No.
We had to get creative with using different spaces, but we made it work. We have nice facilities, but there were not abundance of ensemble rooms.
And we do have an abundance of kids.
Right. And there's kids in the hallways, and there's kids in practice rooms, and kids in storage closets, and, just trying to make things work. But basically, 3 days. Sorry, go back
You're
to
good. 3 days split, 2 days full. On the full days, and this was probably more when you and I were both doing more with the younger bands, one of us would lead the warm-up, and then the other one would, work on a tune. And we'd, switch that each time. So, every day somebody else led a warm-up or an exercise that was not the contest music.
Well, let's back it up even further about
backing up.
How did we know, though, what we were going to work on? Was I doing that, or were you doing that? How'd that work?
You're setting me up to answer this, but honestly, I don't remember. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Okay, help me.
Well, we talked about it, and we did the long-range plan for the bands.
Okay.
And we said by the end of this month, we want to have this tune done. So by the end of this week, we want this much of the tune done. So we scaffolded, we reverse plan for this semester, divided the months up, divided the concert, worked everything backwards, and then got to a daily pace that was going to move us forward. That included warm-ups, that included rhythm, that included rhythm and general musicianship, dynamics and articulation were kind of worked together. And then it was usually one of our 3 contest tunes. And then we always had another tune working in there depending on what other concert we had. So, but we kept everything rotating. We worked on a tune and then would kind of go to the bottom of the list, and then something would come up. But we also had a plan, like in the winter, January, one tune would be, quote, done.
Yeah, learned.
Notes and rhythms, and a good attempt at musicianship.
Yep.
Then, so our testing and assessments for that month were based on that. Jack took all the brass tests. I took all the woodwind tests. And that could be a whole different topic, assessments, how we did that. And then the second month was the second tune. But you also kept the first tune spinning.
Yep.
Okay? And third tune just continue.
And then we tried to be done learning all the tunes before spring break. And our schedule here looks like spring break, first full month of April. Then we usually have about 2 weeks until our contest. So we have anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks that we can clean, perfect, polish the music when we come back. Because that is going to be an icky feeling if you come back and you're like, oh my God, we can't play this.
Right. So, when the students came into class asking about team teaching, we were both there together. It was not somebody's going to come in late because they're finishing up the copies. It was like we were both there at the beginning of class talking to the kids as they came in, right?
Every day.
That was our thing. And even the days that we had sectionals, sometimes we would do a group warm-up.
Oh, and then split.
Right,
yeah.
right. Maybe do a 10-minute warm-up, a couple announcements, and we go out to our sectionals.
That works really well when we were on block schedule, 84-minute classes.
Yep.
That would have been a rough time to do full sectional or full band at that point of the year.
Especially with our younger students. It worked
Yeah.
for us to divvy that up, and that was actually pretty primo.
And something, too, that I think was really good for the kids that they saw from Steve and me.
Jolly Ranchers.
Was that it was pretty clear that you and I enjoyed working together from the kids' perspective. And we were not shy of having fun in front of them.
No.
And I think that we used to do this thing where we would sing the announcements. You remember that? Those were good times. One of us would just start playing chords on the piano. And
Some schlocky pop song.
Yeah, so we're always trying to guess where the other one's going harmonically, and we're trying to sing and carnival rehearsal will be on this day. and the kids are like pulling their phones out and recording it and whatever. But it was silly stuff, but it also like showcased, I think, that there are adults in these kids' lives that work together well and enjoy doing it. And I don't know if that's something that kids get to see often, like in terms of this collaboration. And I think we modeled that really well for them. And it was fun. And it wasn't like, I think the evidence too of this is the band acted the same whether you were on the podium or whether I was on the podium.
That's a big one. And you said eventually. And of course, when you first started and I was the veteran, you were the rookie.
Right.
Things looked a little different, like as far as street cred for the more experienced teacher, of course.
Sure.
But then once you got a couple of years in, or we did this more than one cycle, then we had this equal system going on. And it really did feel equal. And even though like Jack would conduct 2 out of 3 tunes at contests and maybe made him the lead director and maybe the grades were in his name or whatever, the approach to the class was very balanced.
Yeah.
Very balanced. And part of it was because we did plan, we wrapped up every day. We also looked ahead on Friday afternoons and looked ahead till Mondays. And we planned everything out. We had it typed out. We had it on PowerPoint ready to go. And then also, more importantly, not did we just have the objective schedule and the objective goals, we also were able to shape shift during rehearsal. So I was planning to do rhythm for 10 minutes and I got into a pickle, and Jack's kind of like what he alluded to, like tag, I'm in, he gets in there, and it was never like, what are you doing? It was kind of like, we're still trying to teach this concept, who's got the hot hand now, right? And I think that was a lot of fun working like that, because as an assistant, you didn't tune out because you didn't want to tune out, because you want to be you knew you were going to be called on to be a part of the solution.
And that's something really important too, is the head person, whoever's running the class at that moment, has to keep the assistant involved. And Steve was really good about that and be like, okay, band, we're going to play these 8 measures. And then Mr. Hinkle's going to give you a comment about what he thinks. And then we're going to try it again. So he's saying that to the band, like, here's what's going to happen. But he's also saying, Jack, don't tune out right now. Lock in, buddy, because you're going to talk. But it was a way to keep me involved. But it's so easy to be the guy running it and just totally ignore the other person. And not even because you want to, but because, I mean, you've all been teaching. You know how it is to listen to your band and try to come up with some thoughts, live time to tell them afterwards. But you got another adult in the room you got to keep involved. I mean, that's hard.
Right. I think team teaching, when done properly, is going to take a lot more time on the front end of getting everything organized.
Oh, yeah.
And also just kind of like an idea that you're going to share things and you're going to talk about things about what's going on. And splitting up, but being proactive about that. But then also in real time, try not to be a podium hog.
Yeah.
And if you're on the podium, don't be a time hog. Like, leave space in the conversation, or like Jack just alluded to, reach out and say, so Mr. Hinkle, you just listened to us play. What do you think about it?
I think of this in marching band because this is not nearly as easy to do team teaching well in marching band because there's so many moving pieces, like when you're full band, sure. Right? And our like vernacular for trying to jump in is going, you're right, like on the microphone. You're like, there's like the first moment of silence, you're like, trumpets, make sure you play that a little bit softer. Thanks. You shut off the mic. Right? Isn't that true?
Yeah.
It's like all the time. You just, if you need to say something, you just go up.
It's like your placeholder.
Because you can't just start saying the words right away because no one's going to catch it right away. But you saying is like you throwing your dart on the board of, I'm going to talk now.
I got a reservation at 6:32 on chart 35. Let's go!
Nice. Okay, myth or fact? And I really don't know the answer to this.
Oh, boy.
You and your co-teacher need to have the same philosophy of education.
Oh, my gosh, that hurts my head. Say it one more time.
You and your co-teacher need to have the same philosophy of education. Do you know the answer to that?
No, I was going to say false, but I don't know if that's a bad take.
I don't know either. See, we're pretty lucky. We're pretty insulated here. Is that we all kind of have the same. Okay, you're going to cook now. Sorry.
No, you need to be compatible.
Compatible. That's.
But
a good
I don't
word.
think you have to be.
I don't know if you're really my type though.
Similar. You and I. I don't know if we're similar.
I think our outlook on education is.
Yeah.
I know it is. I think it's similar.
Okay.
I think compatible is better than similar, because you could be opposites that like you each have your own strength that like you complement each other.
Yes.
So you could be compatible but not similar.
Yes. But I think you also then if you're in on your tenets of what's important, then you also have to leave the gateway open on the other side for new material to kind of come into your system. And that's what team teaching is.
I do think there needs to be some non-negotiables of like your classroom expectations. Like that should not change from teacher to teacher.
What do you mean by classroom expectations?
Well, so-and-so lets me have my phone out, but this other teacher's not cool and they make me put it away.
My posture is different based on who's standing on the podium.
Right.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
Okay. If the talking is different, if the rehearsal procedure is, it's going to change a little bit. Okay, duh, we're human. There's a different rhythm and pull to everything. But mainly it should be the same kind of pulse or same kind of rhythm and certainly the same expectations.
And if it's not like, if any of that stuff changes, that needs to be a conversation with you and your co-teacher, which that could be difficult. But I don't think your band is going to be like really locked in unless you and your co-teacher are really locked in.
I agree.
Like there's no way, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
Myth or fact? It's important for you to approach discipline, student management, the same way as your co-teacher.
In a broad sense, fact.
Yes!
In a broad sense, fact.
In a small sense.
In a student, like obviously case-by-case basis, I think that would change, especially given your relationship with the student. And I'm talking like littler things. But if you're saying 2 minutes after the bell in your seat set up, don't be 3, right? Like it has to be consistent from each one. And if this teacher is like saying, I'm taking your phone, if you have it out, then other teachers got to do that too.
Right.
Because then it can't be a game of like, who's teaching right now? What can I get away with? Because I declare bankruptcy. I think that kids are different kids, from teacher to teacher. Because you can get away with certain stuff with one teacher and then you can't with the other. I'm like a firm believer of that because I was that kid. I was that kid, dude. There was one teacher, I brought my Game Boy into every class in that class, and I would play it.
And it was AP Music Theory with Mr. Peters.
Dang.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. I locked in for that class. I just liked that class. It was important to me, and I knew I was going to use it in my career. None of the other classes mattered.
Preach!
Yeah, guess who didn't really try that hard in string tech at 7:45 a.m. freshman year of college? Guess who immediately landed a job teaching orchestra? This guy!
Very good. Very good. Okay. 8:20 every day, Aspire, phones go up. They know that. Boom. Any teacher could say that. Anybody on the team. 8:20, good morning, time to put the phones away, backpacks up, please, let's go. Okay. That's how we start every day at 8:20, and we have these big digital clocks in the room, and we look at it, and no matter who's in the room, that's what we say. So there's an example of that each day. I think as far as I've team taught in previous years with people or directors that I taught with some wonderful teachers, but also we differed of how we interacted with the students.
Oh, sure.
And so there was a little
gray area.
It's a little gray area that I think works its way out by talking. I think just spending time together and talking and scheduling things out. Those will come out in your discussions, or they should. And if you have something that happens in your class that was like an uncomfortable moment, or you didn't think that was handled well, I think you have all right to say to your coworker, I wasn't sure that, I don't think that went as well as it could have gone. And I felt like this. I think those are tough conversations. I think those do need to happen. And thankfully, you can have people in your life that you can be honest with and still come out the other side and still be, good coworkers with each other.
Myth or fact? The workload should be 50-50.
True.
That was not a choice, but good try.
Fact.
Should be 50-50. I was going to say myth. This is interesting. You don't know. You can keep your answer. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. We don't have to agree on everything. That's
right.
the whole point of the conversation.
That's the idea. I think, like in the best case scenario, get your schedules going. If we're copying 3 pieces of music, Jack has extra time before school. He gets 1 done, puts it in my office. I get 2 done after lunch. I put them in his office, and we hand them out. I feel just as responsible for the class content as my co-teacher.
Okay.
So I'm making sure that everything is ready to go.
I am of the opinion, I have like two opinions on this. One, I'm going to say it's usually like 60-40 or 70-30 based on who is the like TOR, like teacher of record for that. So I do more of the, like I'm putting in the grades for 6th hour. Mrs. Nouse puts them in for 7th hour, right? I did the music copying for 6. She did the music copying for 7. So I guess, you could say that is 50-50 now that I think about it. It's just 50-50 between 2 groups. I will say though, like, what do they say? Like for marriages, like your effort should be like both partners, like 60% or something. I'm starting to kind of go that way in certain things. Like, for our assignments, I will grade the brass assignments for 6th and 7th hour. Nikki will grade the woodwinds for 6th and 7th hour. We've had a couple like writing assignments lately from all the e-learning days. I've just gone in and done all the woodwinds for like whoever's turned it in for my class. I've just done them those. Because if it's like short and it's going to take less than like a minute for each one, I'll just go do it. But I do think it will have to probably be a little skewed workload based on who is the lead teacher. And like I put in more time on the big picture mapping than she does for 6th hour, and then the reverse is true for 7th hour.
Okay.
So you could argue it's 50-50 because we're teaching two classes.
If you have more than one class.
Yeah. So I might feel differently if that was our one, So look at that. We can both be right.
Super. I do like the concept, though, that you're both equally engaged and invested in the class.
Yes.
Okay.
During the class, yeah.
During the class.
You're both 100% on.
And if Jack was gone on a school day, I could take over and nothing is dropped.
Yeah. And
the converse is true, is that if I'm gone, I don't need to worry that Jack knows, like, we don't even need to, if I'm out with strep throat tomorrow and I'm team teaching with Jack, it's already in the plan. And we've already been talking about it 3 days in a row already. And we know where we're going. Right?
I think, I agree with you. That was a good thing because one of us would usually have to be out a couple times a year for, even just for performances with the groups and trips and stuff like that. And I'm going to be out next Friday for our Ohio trip, and Nikki will teach both bands full on that day.
Right.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
I think being in a co-teacher position, a co-director position, it can also work. I mean, I hope that we address some of the realities and some of the benefits of being in a co-teacher and like what that looks like for us. I also had been in a co-director position in a different way at Concord. And early on, I didn't student teach. I taught the top band with Max Jones. And I was at a time in my life where Max was like, you need to work with me and basically see what I'm doing. And kind of, so I could see the process because I had been doing some other bands and not having the best experience of my teaching career. And he's like, come over here. Let me show you. Watch. He basically said, watch me. Watch how I plan music. Watch how I program. Watch how I test. Watch how I do rehearsal plans. Watch how I sight read. All these things. And I was a part of it, but Max was definitely leading it. But he was also 30 years older than me. And it made sense. But in that case, I was learning so much. It was like going to a clinic every day. Yeah. And he always had new spins on things and new ideas and trying things over and over. And his idea of musicality was like different than mine. And he really had a way of making his band shine through being very precise, not always like spontaneously emotional, which I kind of like
Shocking.
I got into was like creating moments like spontaneously, but Max was like so good at being detailed about that and planning and like not making that a mistake, that these moments were planned. And so I learned so much on that side of things. So that's like a different relationship, somebody that's much older and much more experienced, and they take the reins and say, come under my wing, kind of like ours. But I even felt like with Max, I was like more under his wing. I was definitely the sidecar,
Oh, I think that's a lot of that's to your credit, not making me a sidecar. Yeah. So that's because boy, could I have been a sidecar. I could have been like just the back wheel.
If somebody said teach again an ensemble, here's your teacher, we are talking. When are we talking? Every day? Yeah. I don't got time. Well, make time. After school, before school, in the band room, in the lunchroom, in your office, talk on. During COVID, we got a big boost of collaboration because Jack and I would talk every Sunday evening, and we would plan, and we'd be on the phone, and we'd be on speakerphone, kind of making all these Google Sheets and Google Forms come to life about what we were doing. Was it successful? Absolutely not.
No.
Because it was COVID and everybody was just running around with their heads on fire. But the concept was that we were trying. And if anybody ever said, do you think you had educational integrity? Absolutely.
Yes.
And we were trying things, and we were all the time talking about things.
And this is the problem. I'm going to go preachy right now. This is like the problem right now with everyone's social media teacher feed. They're like, it's so hard, and my kids don't want to do anything, and I can't. Yes, you're right. You're right. But the other half of that is that you got to keep coming back and trying. And that it's not like Steve and I got kids to turn in their homework during COVID more than anyone else, because, boy, let me tell you, Canvas was pretty dry those days.
Yes.
And we just kept saying, what do we do? Do we make a code word? We tried that. Do we buy kids candy bar? We tried that. Do we hold their grades hostage for 10,000 points on Power School? We tried that. But none of it worked. But we kept trying new ideas, and we weren't going to give up until the semester was over. And then we'd try again the next semester. But that is the thing. It's not that we're perfect, but we just kept trying.
Yes, and we kept each other involved. And so and then the other part about team teaching is that you don't want to let the team down.
No.
And when you show up, and I know marching band, that's like a bigger thing when you have many more pieces and many more directors, but you don't want to be that teacher that shows up and your kids are like, bong, and just not on the same page. Right. And so you feel a responsibility. And I think that pressure is really good, and that gives you a little fire to keep you going, and you want to like help lead the pack.
Yes.
You don't want to be on the slow side of things.
Right. I remember there's like a quote from like the American Band Book about Scott, that they were saying that like his section, he tried to always make his section the cleanest and the most prepared, probably for that same reason.
Mm-hmm.
And to the same point, I think the same thing is true. You don't want to let him down with your own attendance. Like, I think in this department we have like really stellar teacher attendance.
Oh.
And it's not because we just like don't get sick ever. I mean, I'm not going to come to school if I'm barfing, but I just mean like I'm coming to school not only for the kids but like for Nikki. Like yes. I don't want to like let her down for the team teaching stuff. And when I was working with you, it's the same thing. I don't want to miss for Steve.
Right.
So our attendance like historically is like really good.
But when that moment comes, you know it's covered, but you also have like, you don't want to take advantage of it.
Right.
And you want to keep that professional.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to martyr myself.
No, not at all. I don't think that is.
I think that's important.
I think that is a symptom of good relationship with staff.
Sure.
That the staff attendance on this floor has been so good over the past 30 years.
Yes. And like, ironically, I think in some ways I'm quicker to miss like a jazz band class, like me personally.
Your own class.
Because I don't want to blow up the other adult.
Yes.
And, you know, fortunately for that class, like they can kind of rehearse themselves, and they could actually accomplish something with the time that would be there. But I never feel good about leaving the team. Like that's tough.
And I also feel like in marching band, like if we got into a rehearsal and we were teaching choreography.
It's amazing how many times choreography comes back on this.
Choreography comes up, but I would want to teach it in a way that I knew that my colleagues were going to be teaching their kids the same thing in an hour. So you wanted to be like very concise and very calculated about how this was going to go. And you didn't want to get sidetracked, and you wanted to be very focused. And you wanted to be a great teacher, not just so your students could learn, but then also so your coworkers could learn from your teaching.
Word. That's so real, dude. That is so real. Okay, at the PD we were just at, we were handed this sheet of like group teaching tactics, stuff like carousel, think, pair, share, you know, that kind of stuff. One of the things on there was like class debates.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss Surface goes, our color guard director, she's like, oh, the guard girls are really good at debates when I can't remember what count I told them to plie on.
It was 3.
No, that was 2. It's 2.
5.
And I was like, oh, I felt that in my soul.
Yeah.
All the trumpet section listening right now is like, yeah, that's true.
If you are lucky enough to have a person that you are, quote, team teaching with, I really, really encourage you not to make the other teacher the copyist, the default instrument repair person, the check the mailbox guy,
the tester,
pull out for this one person at a time. No, I wouldn't
even do that with a student teacher.
I would encourage you to rethink this and to think about yourselves at least 60-40. Okay.
And you're going to be a better teacher if you are the head person. You're going to be a better teacher if you give that assistant director more on their plate. If you do it right, you're going to be more aware of what's going on in the room. You're going to be more aware of their teaching. You're going to be more aware of your own teaching, how the kids are responding.
Yes.
I've noticed that too. Like in the couple times I've taken on like some practicing teachers from our local college, I've noticed that about myself. It's like really helped me. And I tell those kids that. I'm like, that's good for me.
It sharpens the saw.
Yeah. So if you would like some co-teacher models and you'd like to fly us out to like wherever you are, whether that's like in the southern region, maybe something tropical.
La Jolla, California is really nice this time of year.
You say La Jolla?
Yeah.
Never heard of La Jolla, California.
La Jolla?
La Jolla?
Jolla. It's like bougie part of San Diego.
So any teachers out in that neck of the woods, you want to fly us out, we'll do a model. We'll do a 50-minute teaching lab. We'll co-teach your band, and then just put us up in a nice 5-star hotel, give us some per diem for meals and
We're good.
fly us out, fly us back. We'll do it. We'll do it for free.
I'd love to do that.
Be sweet, PD. Hey, buy our merch. Buy our merch. Please.
For the love of chops.
Steve put in so much time, at least like one Saturday morning, to get all this gear loaded up. The Chops hat looks pretty sweet. I might buy one for myself. That could be my new marching band swag for next year, just the Chops hat.
I opened the merch store from time to time. It's like, Cricket, you've had no say.
Like,
hey, we know the people that bought the merch. You love it. So thank you.
Yeah, post it on your Instagram story. I know who you are. Post it on your Instagram story. Tag us so we can share it. Let's go. We know who you are. We get names. So buy our merch. It's not that expensive. And with inflation, like, it's basically free. I don't know if that made sense, but I played that card. Keep giving us reviews. It's been a hot minute since we've had an Apple podcast review. That really helps out the pod. Apple Podcast. That's for you, Cameron. Then make sure you're liking and subscribing on the TikTok, the Facebook, the YouTube, and the Spotify.
And Instagram.
Oh, we have so many socials, dude.
Keep the questions coming. We love it. Keep trying your best at being a great teacher. Doing all this stuff, trying every day to be better. Steve Peterson.
And Jack Hinkle.
We're out of here.
Yeah.